Hello children, I am going to teach you lesson 3, page number 23, the open window. She rattled on cheerfully about the shooting and the scarcity of birds and the prospects for duck in the winter. To Frampton it was all purely horrible. He made a desperate but only partially successful effort to turn the talk on to a less ghastly topic. He was conscious that his hostess was giving him only a fragment of her attention, and her eyes were constantly straying past him to the open window and the lawn beyond. It was certainly an unfortunate coincidence that he should have paid his visit on this tragic anniversary. The doctors agree in ordering me complete rest and absence of mental excitement and avoidance of anything in the nature of violent physical exercise, announced Frampton, who labored under the tolerably widespread delusion that total strangers and chance acquaintances are hungry for the least detail of one's ailments and infirmities, their cause and cure. On the matter of diet, they are not so much in agreement, he continued. Ghastly means causing great horror or fear. Mrs. Sapleton was worried about her carpets as they would spoil that with muddy shoes. She kept on saying about the scarcity of birds and prospects for duck in the winter. Frampton was on his nerves when he related the two stories of the ladies of the house. Frampton called it an unfortunate coincidence that he visited on the anniversary of such a tragic ailment. He told that the doctors advised him to take complete rest and to avoid anything in the nature of violent physical exercise. No, said Mrs. Sapleton, in a voice which only replaced a yawn at the last moment. Then she suddenly brightened into alert attention, but not to what Frampton was saying. Here they are, at last, she cried, just in time for tea, and don't they look as if they were muddy up to the eyes? Mrs. Sapleton's eyes were anxiously waiting for her husband, and then came shine in her eyes when she saw them approaching. Through the most horrified, Frampton looked at Vera and stared at the window. Frampton shivered slightly and turned towards the niece with a look intended to convey sympathetic comprehension. The child was staring out through the open window with a dazed horror in her eyes. In a chill shock of nameless fear, Frampton swung around in his seat and looked in the same direction. In the deepening twilight, three figures were walking across the lawn towards the window. They all carried guns under their arms, and one of them was additionally burdened with a white coat hung over his shoulders. A tired brown spaniel kept close at their heels. Noiselessly they neared the house, and then a hoarse young voice chanted out of the dusk, "I said, Bertie, why do you bound?" Three figures entered, walking across the lawn towards the window, carrying their arms. Then her brother teased her again by saying, "Bertie, why do you bound?" Frampton grabbed wildly at his stick and had the hall door. The gravel drive and the front gate were dimly noted stages in his headlong retreat. A cyclist coming along the road had to run into the hedge to avoid imminent collision. Terrified with unnamed fear, Frampton picked up his things and went away, almost colliding with a cyclist. "Here we are, my dear," said the bearer of the white mackintosh coming in through the window. "Fairly muddy, but most of it's dry. Who was that who bolted out as we came up?" "A most extraordinarily man, Mr. Nuttall," said Mrs. Sapleton, "could only talk about his illnesses and dashed off without a word of good-bye or apology when you arrived. One would think he had seen a ghost." "I expect it was the spaniel," said the niece calmly. "He told me he had a horror of dogs. He was once hunted into a cemetery somewhere on the banks of the Ganges by a pack of pariah dogs, and had to spend the night in a newly dug grave with the creature snarling and grinning and foaming just above him, enough to make anyone lose their nerves." Sapleton told her husband about Mr. Nuttall, about who asked at sudden withdrawal. Mrs. Sapleton was also taken aback at such a gesture. Vera explained that once he had experienced a horror of dogs.